I'm going to tell you the single most important truth I learned from Abdullah, a truth so simple, so profound, that once you truly grasp it, your entire reality must shift, and everything you've ever believed about your powerlessness will shatter. If you're the man who looks at his life, at his circumstances, and feels that dull, heavy ache in his chest, believing you're just a victim of fate, watching others seemingly lucky while you're trapped, feeling that quiet desperation at 3 a.m. that there's no real way to change your fundamental reality, or that some secret knowledge is being kept from you. By the end of this session, you will grasp the fundamental, undeniable truth of your being and possess the first, simplest exercise to begin creating your reality, just as I learned to create my small daily experiences before I ever dreamed of Barbados. Many have reported a profound shift in perspective and initial coincidences within 72 hours of applying this understanding, but this isn't just another theory, it's the bedrock. If you leave now, you'll continue to search for advanced techniques without the foundation, like building a mansion on quicksand. In the next 5 minutes, I'll reveal the exact identity you must claim to unlock this power, and the one in a game mistake that keeps 99% of people from ever manifesting. Miss this and you'll forever be seeking external solutions to an internal problem. One law principle titled Consciousness is the only reality, a hidden truth. When I first met Abdullah, I was a dancer, struggling, making little money, and desperately yearning for something more. My life felt like a relentless tide, pulling me where it pleased. I saw others, seemingly less talented, less diligent, achieving what I longed for. I carried a silent despair, believing I was simply not cut out for the kind of success or happiness I envisioned. My circumstances felt like an unchangeable prison. I remember telling Abdullah of a particularly trying day, a series of frustrating auditions, a missed payment, and the crushing weight of feeling utterly powerless. I vented about the world, the economy, the unfairness of it all. He simply looked at me, his eyes piercing, and declared, "Neville, your problem is not the world, it is your conviction that the world exists independently of your awareness of it. You believe you are a victim of circumstances and external forces beyond your control, and that, my friend, is completely wrong." He then assigned me a simple task. For the next week, I was to observe every thought, every emotion, every internal conversation, and know that these, and only these, were the architects of my outer world. The obstacle was my deeply ingrained belief in external causation. The principle was that consciousness is the sole reality. The result was an undeniable shift in how I perceived my daily frustrations, transforming them from external attacks to reflections of my own internal state, and a newfound sense of control began to bloom. The human mind, your mind, operates on the principle that what you are conscious of being, that is what you are. Your subconscious has no capacity to judge, to reason, or to deny. It is merely a fertile field, ready to receive and manifest whatever seed of consciousness is planted within it. When you are conscious of being a victim, it manifests victimization. When you are conscious of being powerless, it manifests powerlessness. Your state of consciousness, your deep-seated conviction about who and what you are, is the blueprint that the subconscious must build from. There is no other builder, no other architect, no other source. This isn't about mere positive thinking. It's about the fundamental identity you assume. Most men drift through life, unconsciously allowing their inner state to be dictated by their outer experiences, always reacting, always justifying, always feeling helpless against the tide. They say, "I am poor because the market is bad," or "I am unhappy because see my relationship is failing." They are victims of their own unexamined assumptions, but the man who understands that consciousness is the only reality must reverse this process. He does not react to his world, he creates it. He sees his outer world as a faithful mirror, reflecting back the inner conviction of his being. He knows that to change the reflection, he must change the face he presents to the mirror. This is the bedrock truth. Abdullah would often thunder, "Neville, do you not read your Bible? What do the scriptures mean when they say, 'I am'? Before Abraham was, I am. This I am is your very imagination, your awareness. It is the only God." I confess that this idea was revolutionary, almost blasphemous to my conditioning. I had always separated God from man, placing him in some distant heaven. But Abdullah insisted that the creative power, the very source of all existence, was not separate from me but was me, as my imagination. He taught me of Thomas Troward, who spoke of the law of the subjective mind, asserting that the subjective mind, which is our imagination, is the creative power of the universe, and its nature is to bring into objective existence whatever is impressed upon it. Troward's revelation, echoing through Abdullah, was that our thoughts, imbued with feeling, become living things in the subjective realm, destined to manifest. My obstacle was centuries of ingrained religious dogma separating man from God. The principle was the forbidden revelation that my imagination is the living, breathing, creative power of God. The result was an overwhelming sense of responsibility, but also an intoxicating freedom, knowing that I held the keys to the kingdom within me. I was the creator. Your subconscious mind, this silent, tireless servant, cannot originate. It must be impressed. And what impresses it? Your imagination. It is the canvas upon which you paint your reality, the script you write for your life's drama. Every thought, every mental image, every inner conversation you hold is a command, a blueprint passed to the subconscious. It does not question the validity, it merely accepts and constructs. When you imagine lack, it produces lack. When you imagine illness, it produces illness. This is not some abstract philosophical concept. It is the absolute, unyielding mechanism of creation. Your power is not in your muscles, your money, or your social standing. Your power is in your divine imagination, the I am within you, which is the very God of your being. Most men use their imagination to rehearse their fears, to dwell on past mistakes, to project future calamities. They sit and create scenarios of loss, of failure, of rejection, then wonder why these very things come to pass. They believe imagination is merely idle daydreaming, a frivolous escape. But the man who grasps this forbidden revelation knows his imagination is the sole creative faculty. He will never again squander this divine power on worry or despair. He will always turn inward to that sacred space and consciously imagine his desired reality, knowing that by doing so, he is literally commanding God, the I am of his being, to bring it forth. It was Abdullah who gave me the most profound lesson on the law of assumption. I longed to go to Barbados, but I had no money. I was stuck in New York, dreaming. I told him of my plight, and he simply said, "You are in Barbados." I protested, "But I am here in New York. I have no funds." He would not budge. He looked at me with an unshakable certainty and declared, "You are in Barbados. Do not discuss it with me again. When you speak to me from Barbados." This was the core of it, not hope, not wish, but assume. He made me assume the feeling of being there. I had to inwardly live as if I was already in Barbados. My mind screamed at the absurdity of it. The obstacle was my senses, which relentlessly contradicted Abdullah's declaration. The principle was the absolute law of assumption that what I assumed to be true, despite evidence to the contrary, must harden into fact. The result was an extraordinary sequence of events that defied all logic, leading to my free passage to Barbados within weeks. It was a counterintuitive secret that shattered my understanding of reality. The subconscious mind, the creative power within you, does not distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a physically real one. It responds only to the feeling of reality that you impress upon it. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume, whatever you feel to be true, despite what your physical senses scream at you, is the command that the subconscious must obey. It is the only operating law of the universe. It is not complex. It requires no rituals, no elaborate techniques. This belief that manifestation is a complex process requiring specific rituals or elaborate techniques is an assumption that actively blocks your results. The mechanism is simple. Choose an assumption, feel it as real, and persist in that feeling until it manifests. The bridge is always a feeling, not an intellectual exercise. Most men wish for their desires. They hope, they pray, they repeat affirmations without conviction, all while looking at their present circumstances as the unchangeable truth. They say, "I want that job," but their underlying assumption is, "I probably won't get it." They believe they must work hard to earn their desires in the physical world before their imagination can work. This is a myth that must die. But the man who truly understands the law of assumption does not wish. He assumes. He inwardly feels the thrill of the wish fulfilled, even when his bank account is empty, even when his health is failing, even when his relationship is in turmoil. He knows that his assumption, held with feeling, is the irresistible force that will rearrange his world to conform to that inner state. It was not enough to merely think I was in Barbados. Abdullah pushed me to feel I was there. He commanded me to sleep as if I were in Barbados, to touch the imaginary sand, to smell the imaginary salt air, to hear the imaginary waves. I initially found this difficult, almost ridiculous. My logical mind resisted. But he insisted, feeling is the language of the subconscious. Joseph Murphy, a fellow explorer of these laws, often spoke of how intense feeling, especially the feeling of relief or gratitude for a wish fulfilled, could instantly bypass the conscious mind's resistance and impress the subconscious. He presented countless cases where individuals, by intensely feeling the joy of their desired health or wealth, brought about remarkable transformations. My obstacle was my intellectual approach, believing that logical thought alone was sufficient. The principle was that feeling, not intellect, is the revolutionary method to impress the subconscious. The result was a profound understanding that the quality of my feeling was the determining factor in the speed and certainty of my manifestations. Your subconscious mind is not a thinking entity, it is a feeling entity. It responds to the vibrations, the emotional tone, the sensory quality of your inner world. A mere thought, unaccompanied by feeling, is like a seed dropped on barren ground. It will not take root. But a thought imbued with deep feeling, whether it be joy, relief, certainty, or gratitude, is like a seed planted in rich, fertile soil. It must grow. This feeling is the secret. It is the bridge between your conscious intention and the subconscious's creative power. When you feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, you are communicating directly with the creative power of the universe, telling it, "This is done. This is real." Most men try to manifest with their conscious minds, using affirmations as a rote exercise, repeating words without emotion, without truly feeling the truth of what they are saying. They engage in complex visualizations, but never drop into the state of already having. They remain detached, observing their desires from a distance, but the man who understands that feeling is the secret will plunge himself into the emotional state of the wish fulfilled. He will not just see his goal. He will feel the joy of achieving it, the relief of his burdens lifted, the satisfaction of his success. He knows that this inner feeling, sustained and cherished, is the unstoppable force that draws his desire into his physical world. Before Barbados, I had many small, everyday experiences that taught me the power of claiming. I remember once needing a specific sum of money for a bill, and I didn't see how it could come. Instead of waiting, I closed my eyes and felt the relief of having that exact amount, right then, in my hand, counted out. I didn't think about how it would come. I just experienced the feeling of having it now. I assumed it was mine. Within a day, a most unexpected check arrived for that precise amount from a source I had long forgotten. Florence Scovel Shinn, a wonderful teacher, always emphasized the importance of claiming your good and making your declaration. She taught that one must not wait for external proof to make a claim. The claim is the proof in the invisible realm, which then manifests visibly. My obstacle was the ingrained human tendency to wait for external validation before feeling secure. The principle was the absolute necessity of claiming the wish fulfilled now, in consciousness. The result was an undeniable, tangible manifestation that confirmed the power of immediate internal appropriation. The subconscious mind exists in an eternal now. It has no past, no future. It understands only what is. Therefore, when you say, "I will have," you are eternally postponing. When you say, "I wish I had," you are affirming lack in the present. To impress the subconscious, you must claim your wish fulfilled now. You must internally declare, "I am that. It is mine. I have it." This act of present tense appropriation in your imagination, coupled with the feeling of its reality, is the most powerful command you can give. It destroys the myth that you must work hard to earn your desires in the physical world before your imagination can work. No, my friend, you earn it in consciousness first, by claiming it now. Most men endlessly pursue external actions, hoping to earn their desire, always waiting for some external sign or achievement before they allow themselves to feel successful or abundant. They say, when I get the promotion, then I'll be happy, or once I have the money, then I'll feel secure. They are perpetually waiting for proof that never fully arrives because they are perpetually affirming, not yet. But the man who grasps this foundational truth claims his wish fulfilled now. He feels the happiness of the promotion before the offer letter arrives. He feels the security of wealth before the money enters his bank. He lives from the end, in the present moment, knowing that the physical world must conform to his inner declaration. He does not wait for evidence, he generates it from within. Here's exactly how you begin this journey, how you move from despair to undeniable creative power. Tonight, before you sleep, choose one small, specific desire. It could be a specific, unexpected email from someone, a particular phone call you've been wanting, or finding an item you need that seems just out of reach. Do not choose something that feels impossible to you right now. Choose something that feels like a delightful coincidence, if it happened. Now, instead of thinking about it, feel the reality of it. Close your eyes and in your imagination, enact a brief, simple scene that implies the fulfillment of this wish. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the relief of it already being done. If it's an email, imagine seeing the notification, feeling the pleasant surprise. If it's the item, feel yourself holding it, using it. Repeat this short scene, feeling it as real, until you fall asleep. Deep in that feeling. Do this every night for 7 days. This simple, powerful act of claiming your wish fulfilled now in feeling is your first step. I promise you, if you apply this understanding consistently, with conviction and feeling, you will experience a profound, undeniable shift in your understanding of your own creative power within 7 days, leading to your first conscious, small manifestation, a specific unexpected email, phone call, or item within 30 days, proving your inherent ability to create reality. This is not a guess, this is a certainty. You came here believing you are a victim of circumstances and external forces beyond your control. I have shown you that your consciousness is the only reality, that you are the sole creator. That belief is now shattered. You believed manifestation is a complex process requiring specific rituals or elaborate techniques. I have revealed that it is the simple, counterintuitive secret of assumption, fueled by feeling, claimed now. That assumption that blocked your results is now destroyed. You thought you must work hard to earn your desires in the physical world before your imagination can work. I have shown you that your earning begins in consciousness by claiming your wish fulfilled in the present moment. This myth that must die has died for you tonight. We spoke of the exact identity you must claim to unlock this power. It is the identity of your desired self, the I am of the wish fulfilled. We asked why the first, simplest manifestation is often the hardest to accept. It is because your senses scream contradiction, and your conditioned mind resists accepting an internal, non-physical cause. You overcome this by persisting in the feeling, knowing your assumption must harden into fact, and the single internal conversation you are having that was blocking your access to this foundational truth. It was the conversation of not yet, of I can't, of I will wait. You silence this conversation by claiming your wish fulfilled now in feeling with absolute certainty. Now the choice is yours, as it always is. Will you continue to chase after external solutions, feeling the dull ache of powerlessness and believing life happens to you, trapped in your unchangeable prison? Or will you embrace the forbidden foundation of your own divine consciousness, claim your inherent creative power, and begin to consciously direct your reality to manifest your desires, just as I did? Will you remain the man who waits, or become the man who creates? Do not let this truth simply be another theory you've heard. Return to this daily, listen to it again, internalize these principles. Play this again and again until these truths are burned into your very being. For you are not merely listening to words, you are programming your destiny.